Now let's start with the question 4. You have deployed an HTTP load balancer with the gcloud command shown below. So you pause the video and you go through this command. Health check to port 80 on the compute engine virtual machine instance are failing and no traffic is sent to your instance. You want to resolve the problem. Which command should you run? So there are four options. First is a G Cloud Compute Instances, add access config, name, backend instance 1. Another option is option B, G Cloud Compute Instance, add tag $name, backend instance 1, tags HTTP server. Option C, G Cloud Compute Firewall rule, create allow LB. And option D is the G Cloud Compute Firewall rules, create allow LB. The difference is allowed TCP is resource ranges, and for option D these are destination ranges. So from all these four options, option C is a correct option, because if you see here, command is a gcloud compute firewall rule, create allow LB, network load balancer, allow TCP, source change, here they have given, and direction is ingress. So for the given question, direction ingress is the very important keyword which is used here. So option C is a correct one. Let's look at the other options as well. Option A, gcloud compute instances, add access config. This adding an access configuration is not required. So the load balancer communicates with the instances via their internal IPs. So this is also not a correct option. Or option B, tags are often used to apply firewall rules. Simply adding a tag without corresponding firewall rules that references that tag, it is not doing anything. So this option is not a correct one. So let's see the another option, which is a D option. Here it is defining as a egress rule, okay, which is outgoing with a destination ranges. So this is also not a correct as per the question. So option D is also not a correct. So option C is the correct option. Question number 5. Your website is deployed on compute engine. Your marketing team want to test conversion rate between three different website designs. Which approach should you use? Option A, deploy the website on App Engine and use traffic splitting. Option B, deploy the website on App Engine and three separate services. C, deploy the website on Cloud Function and use traffic splitting. Option D, deploy the website on Cloud Functions as three separate functions. Here the correct option is option A, deploy the website on App Engine and use traffic splitting option. Why option A is correct? Because App Engine has the inbuilt function of traffic splitting feature. So that's why App Engine is the correct choice as per the question requirement. Let's look at the other options also. So option B says we can deploy three separate services. It is a costly option and it will overall increase the management overhead. So this is also not a correct option. And option C and D says use a cloud function and use a traffic splitting or separate deploy function, or it says deploy the three separate functions in a cloud function is a great choice if it is a event driven things. Here cloud function is not used to host the full website, so cloud function is not the correct option. So option C and D also not a correct option. So we can eliminate these two options. So only option left is option A, which is deploy the website on App Engine, and we can use the inbuilt traffic splitting option in this App Engine. Let's look at a question number 6. You need to copy directory and all of its content from your local workstation to compute engine virtual machine instance. Which command should you use? Option A is a gsutilcp, option B is also gsutilcp. These two options are incorrect because gsutilcp is used for managing the Google Cloud storage buckets. So it is not used for the compute engine virtual machine. So all these A and B are the incorrect option. Then we are left with option C and option D, which is a G cloud. Here both are the G cloud. So this may be the correct option. Let's check the all the option. Okay. Option C says G cloud compute SCP. Okay. And option D says G cloud compute MV. Okay. G cloud compute MV. There is no command like MV in the compute engine. So this is not the correct option. Only option left with the G cloud compute SCP. So this is the correct option. Let's look at question number 7. You are deploying your application to the compute engine virtual machine instance with the strike driver monitoring agent installed. Your application is a Unix process on the instance. You want to be alerted if the Unix process has not run for at least 5 minutes. You are not able to change the application to generate metrics or logs. Which alert condition should you configure? Option A, uptime check. B, process health. C, metric absence. D, metric threshold. Your option B is the correct one because when you have a monitoring agent installed on a compute engine instance, it can track the status of individual process running on that virtual machine. So let's look at the other options also. Option A says uptime check. These are primarily for checking an endpoint is reachable from the public internet or within the VPC. It does not look at the internal Unix process list. So this is not a correct option. C says metric absence and option D says metric threshold. So metric absence triggers when the specific metric stream stops reporting the data entirely. Since the application doesn't generate since the application doesn't generate its own metrics, so this is also not a correct option. D says metric threshold. This is used for the value like a CPU usage or a RAM. It is not the primary way to check its process. It is not the primary way to check if the process is existing or not. So option D is also not a correct option. We are only left with the option number B, which is a process height. Question number 8. You have two tables in the ANSI SQL compliant database with identical columns that you need to quickly combine into single table, removing duplicate rows from the result set. What should you do? Option A, use the join operator in the SQL. Option B, use the nested with statement with this. Option C is the use the union operator. Option D is use union all operator. Here the correct option is option C. Use the union operator in the SQL to combine the table. Because in the INC SQL, union operator is specifically designed to combine the result set of two or more select statement into the single result set. So that's why option C is the correct one. Let's look at the other options also. Option A says use the join operator. Join operator is not used to remove the duplicate, so this is also not a correct option. Option B says nested with statement. Option B says use the with statement, which is a common table expression is used to handle the complex queries into the simple ones, but it is not used for removing the duplicates. So this is also not a correct option. D says use the union all operator in the SQL. So he says use the union all. With this also combines the result set, but it does not remove the duplicate. And it is faster than union because it doesn't perform the overall of distinct or data check, but it would fail the requirement of the specific task, which is a removal of the duplicate record. So option D is also not a correct option. Now let's look at the question number 9. You have an application deployed in production. When the new version is deployed, some issues doesn't arise until the application receives the traffic from the user in production. You want to reduce both the impact and the number of users affected. Which deployment strategy should you use? Option A is blue-green deployment, which is not a correct option because in the blue-green deployment, we usually move the 100% traffic to one of the environment, either which is a blue or a green environment. So this is not a correct option. B is a correct option because in the canary deployment, what we are doing before the production deployment, we are doing the canary deployment where we are moving some percentage of the traffic to the canary environment. So if we have the new features developed in the application, then we can use the canary deployment to satisfy the requirement in the question, which is moving some traffic to the new application. So option B is a correct one. Option C is a rolling deployment. In the rolling deployment, we replaces the old version with the new version. So rolling deployment is also not a correct option. D says a recreate deployment. So this is also not a correct option because this this type of deployment shut down the previous version before starting the new version. This causes the downtime and affect all the users. So this is also not a correct option. So only correct option is the option B, which is the canary deploy. Question number 10. Your company want to expand their users outside the US for their popular application. The company want to ensure 99.99% availability of the database for their application and also want to minimize the read latency. You focus on this word, they want to minimize the read latency for their users across the globe. Okay. These three words are very hot: 99% availability, minimize the real latency, and the users across the globe. Which two actions should they take? Here the options are: create a multi-regional cloud spanner instance with this configuration, which is a correct one because here the Asia, Euro regions are taken. So this is satisfying our this need users across the globe. Option B says create a multi-regional cloud spanner instance with NAM3 configuration, which is a multi-regional, but it will not satisfy the condition for users across the globe. So this is also not a correct option. C says create a cluster with at least 3 spanner node. So this is also correct option. D says create a cluster at least 1 spanner node. So this is not a correct option because it says at least 1 spanner node. So it will not satisfy the condition in the given question. Option E says create a minimum 2 cloud spanner instance in a separate region with at least 1 spanner node. This will also not satisfy the condition because it is talking about only the regions. It is not talking about the globe. Option F says use data flow pipeline. If you see the conditions, 99% availability, minimum read latency, Cloud Spanner is the only best option. Data flow will not satisfy the given condition, so option F is also not the correct one. So only option left with us is option number A and option number C, which is the most correct one. So these are the correct options. So you can see the explanation for the other options also. Please pause the video and look at this. So in this video, we have covered from question number 4 to question number 10. In the further videos, I will cover next 10 questions. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel for such videos. I will cover the entire question series for this Google Cloud certification. Thank you.